I'm gonna ask you guys this. Yu Darvish said in an interview that it wasn't even his dream to play in the World Series. That growing up in Japan, his dream was to play in their version of the World Series, their championships, and so he kind of said that before Game 7 when he pitched, it's not my dream to win Game 7. Do you think that kind of affected it? Like, it's someone who technically this isn't really something he's like into that as much as like a Clayton Kershaw.
I don't put too much weight in some of these things these guys say. Because at the end of the day, you're a baseball player. Let's play baseball. And it's just like he had when we picked him up, he had a really good season going to the playoffs. He had a good playoffs. So I'm just like, if that wasn't his dream, he was playing pretty damn good for it to not be his dream. Honestly, you could argue that this was that was maybe the worst pitching performance he had in a Dodger uniform this year. And it was Game 7 the Game 7 of the World Series. And honestly, I can't even really be mad at him because I hold it on Roberts, man. That was I think David Roberts is a great coach. That was a really bad decision not to start Clayton Kershaw. I think he's top 3 pitcher in baseball. Start him, it's Game 7. If he can only go 3 innings, let him get those 3 innings in. Because when he pitched 4 innings, 4 strikeouts, 2 hits, why didn't he start the game if he was that fresh? And like some people are saying, like, well, he's already playing from behind, so there might have been extra adrenaline. Dog, if you need extra adrenaline in Game 7 of the World Series, you don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? So Clayton Kershaw, if he starts that game, I was even talking to my dad last night, if they just put him in after that terrible first inning that you had, we still have a shot. Then we were down 2-0. Well, I feel like we could have got the bats cracking, but I think when you're down 5-0, 2 innings in, it's just kind of like, I feel like you're trying to dig yourself out of such a big hole. Some of those guys are swinging for the fences every time they get up the bat. Some people swinging when they're up 3-0. I'm just like, you don't have those things in your head when you're only down 1 or 2. And I think being down 5-0, the Dodgers are such a young team. I felt like this insurmountable wall they were trying to get through. Even though Clayton Kershaw pitched his ass off, like he's
the only reason they had a chance.
Only reason, because the bats were not cracking at all, and it was a bad game. I feel like they played one of their worst games, and it was the last game of the series. So
I'll ask both of you this: like, separate games 1 through 6. Just Game 7. Do you think it's on Dave Roberts and the coaching staff?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Game 7, the classic idiom is all hands on deck.
Sure.
It should be more.
Yeah, they still should have hit the ball.
It shouldn't be, but in terms of your pitching where you set the lineup, it should be more of like a coalition of efforts. Like, some people do 3 innings, some people do 2 innings.
Yeah.
It shouldn't use. I felt like he was just playing a standard game, and it's Game 7.
Yeah.
It's literally your last game. You're supposed to throw everything out there.
in the kitchen sink.
I think you start with your leader, Clayton Kershaw.
Yes.
You don't start with Yu Darvish. What do you guys think?
I would go with Clayton first. Maybe you use you in the middle for some middle relief. Maybe. But I say you ride Clayton until you can get to Morrow and Kenley. That's how I felt.
To me, I think hindsight, of course, is 2020, as we all know, but
True.
I don't necessarily think there was a problem starting Yu Darvish. I agree with Niles. 2 innings would have been fine, and then you go to Clayton Kershaw for 4. That'll take you to the 6th, maybe the 7th inning.
Yeah.
If you look at Astros, what they did, Lance McCullers said after the game, I really didn't have that much in me for his game, but I told them I'd give them everything I had, and he gave them 2 and a third innings.
Exactly.
And that carried them. Had Charlie Morton pitch really well.
Stopped us from
Liriano, and they had a collect. Even Justin Verlander, who pitched the night before, was available if they needed him.
Exactly.
So I think after 1 bad inning of Yu Darvish, there's no tomorrow. You can't afford to let him struggle through a lineup that has been tearing the cover off the ball. Especially we have like George Springer coming up, who ended up being the World Series MVP. You can't let him face Yu Darvish, who was tipping his pitches the entire game.
Yeah, George Springer had a great series at the plate. The way the Astros hit the ball in Game 5 and Game 7, textbook, man. Like if you want to be a power hitter, go and watch highlights from Game 5 and Game 7 and watch the way those dudes are running the ball.
And in even Game 7, if you think about it, all the offense, all the home runs in this series, and you look at that first inning, the Astros manufactured 2 runs.
Yes.
After an error, they moved the runner over, they got the runner in, and it was their superstar that did it. Jose Altuve hit a ball on the right side to drive in the first run.
Right.
They got a single up the middle to drive in the second run. Like, they hit their home runs throughout the series. Of course, a record throughout the World Series and the season, of course, as people know.
Right.
But they got 2 runs on the board in the first inning, put pressure on the defense, and then got a 2-run homer from George Springer. So, I mean, they did everything right. It's easy to blame Dave Roberts, and he definitely had some things he could have adjusted.
Yeah.
But I think a bigger deal was the approach of the Dodgers in that Game 7.
Yeah.
They had opportunities.
Right.
They left.
We had
I think,
6 people
9
on base.
runners on base.
We had 6 before. I think the 7th inning, we had 6 people on base, six base runners. So I was like I said, like I blame Dave Roberts for not starting Kershaw, but I can't blame him for guys not hitting the ball. I can't blame him for Cody Bellinger striking out 7 million times. Like I can't blame him for that. And then it's like with Cody Bellinger, it was his first World Series. You know what I'm saying? He's a rookie. Sometimes
It's rookie year.
this is
World
rookie year.
Series.
Me and Cody Bellinger are the same age. Like I get nervous asking people, can I plug stuff in at Starbucks under their table? So like, dude, like I can't really get mad at him. He had a great season. You know, I love my Dodgers. At the end of the day, I was blessed to be able to go to 5 games this year. 2 of them being playoff games. Really fun season. I think we'll be back because like the team's so young. You know, Clayton Kershaw's in his prime, so we'll be all right. That was tough. That one was a tough one to swallow. To have such a great Game 6 performance and then wet the bed the next day, that was...
But it's been like, it really has been like one of the best World Series ever. Like Game 5, do you think Game 5, some people say Game 5 might be the best modern World Series game ever.
It has to be up there, man. When Puig hit that home run, I couldn't believe it, bro. Like I was just like, are we about to come back? Like I couldn't believe it. It was such a good game, you know. Like if somebody ever says baseball is boring, like show them that game, you know.
Yeah.
That was an amazing game. And the thing was, the pitching wasn't that bad. Game 5, it's just guys were just really in the zone at the plate.
It's a ballpark for offense.
Yeah, Minute Maid for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Niles, do you want to go to your gold medal topic on the World Series now?
Mine was gonna be more about Dave Roberts. Not even gonna lie.
Okay, we can continue.
Yeah, so we can.
So Dave Roberts, what specifically?
Just not starting Kershaw. I just think you go Game 7, you go with the best guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it's it. There's like Russ said, there's no tomorrow. I didn't when they said Yu Darvish was getting the start. I did that. It didn't sit well with me when they first said, and I love Yu Darvish. You have Clayton Kershaw, like. Do it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I actually do think Clayton refuted his MO that he was like he wasn't clutch in the playoffs. I thought he played really good in the playoffs. He played
great. I think this is his best put together playoffs.
Game 7 in particular, like he stepped into a dumpster fire, and he really was the only reason that they stopped the bleeding.
Right.
And so I don't know. Do you think Clayton Kershaw erased that, Russell?
No, I definitely do. Clayton Kershaw is one of the best pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And his last thing that he couldn't get over was that playoff barrier.
Right.
And so he's been for the last 2 playoffs. He's pitched really well.
Right.
Pitched really well last year. They just couldn't get past the Cubs, who won the World Series.
Right.
This year, he did everything he could to win that game last night. Honestly, if you think about it, that game was on pace to go 8, maybe 9-0 Astros.
Yeah.
And he's in there and shut them down like he's there for the rest of the game. And if the Dodgers could do anything with runners in scoring position, who knows? Like when they come back the rest of the series, you never know how guys can do in different situations, especially starters coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So that game could have went a lot differently if the Dodgers were able to manage to put a run or 2 up in some of those innings when they had runners at first and second and third.
Right.
But no, I think Clayton has completely obliterated that playoff bug that he had, and it just added to the greatness that we know from Clayton Kershaw.
Right.
You brought up something I wanted to touch on. The Dodgers left, I think, 8 or 9 people stranded on base. They only lost by half that.
Yeah.
It's It's one of those things. Do you think it was the hitting, or do you think it was like some of the plays by like Bregman and company? Because I know in particular Bregman had a couple of highlights for this World Series.
Bregman was fantastic.
Yeah.
There were a couple of shots right to the base or in the hole where he made an outstanding dive that would have probably been left field for a base hit and moved some of those runners over. I know one would have gotten a run in.
Right.
He was in that's baseball.
Yeah,
baseball.
I think it's a little bit to do with the great defensive plays, but also this in fact, leaving guys runners on base is why we lost Game 5 before it went into extra innings, because we left Cody Bellinger on third.
And that's how you let them back
outs,
into
and that's
it,
how we left them back in the game. We bring Cody Bellinger across, we win Game 5, and we go back. We go into Game 6 tied. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no, we were going into Game 6 up. So it's just like, we left a lot of runners on base in the games that we lost this last series.
So before we get to my topic, just Niles, you're a big LA fan, and I don't know if you know, LA Dodgers fans, like as soon as they were down, I'm sure like half people jumped off the bandwagon before the game even.
Right.
And it's a weird fan. You're an actual diehard fan.
Since I was a kid.
3 generations, right? 3 generations of Dodgers fans at least. Run me through your emotions going through Game 7.
Man, I was hyped, and then when they scored those first 2 runs, I was like, damn, this is real. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like in my head, I was like, damn, like this. After we were down 5-0, I was like, we're probably gonna lose, but I think we're gonna make a good run out of it. Like I kind of felt we were gonna lose the game, but I also felt we were gonna make a really good, entertaining last couple innings, putting something together. Cause the way we came back in Game 5, you know what I'm saying, and just all those kind of things. So like I wouldn't say like I thought we were gonna lose, but I never lost that hope that we could make a little comeback. Cause I think if any team could have done it, it's us with the talent we have in the lineup. But yeah, a lot of range of emotions at Game 7. And I was doing a rehearsal for a short film, so I was like checking my phone in between lines and stuff. So yeah, it was rough.
How did your dad or your grandpa, did they say anything?
I talked to my dad last night. He was a little upset. He was a little upset, but we're gonna be back next year, so it's gonna be all right.
All right. Well, it's
because the Dodgers haven't won a World Series since '88. So
since that magic home run.
He was my age the last time the Dodgers won.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And I wasn't even alive. So it's just like, we wanted it. We wanted that.
I mean, I guess one thing we could talk about, they did spend the most this year. The Dodgers spent the most.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the guys that came through for them were not the big contract guys.
No, they weren't.
It was like also like the farm system and just random pickups. So, do you think this is a team that next year can go forward? Because I think people assume the Astros.
Yeah, the Astros.
Because they're so young, the foundation's so solid.
I think they said the Astros and the Dodgers both 5-1 odds to be back next year, like a rematch. I could see it again because I don't see anybody in the AL stopping the Astros. They're just so young.
No, the Yankees are.
I think the Yankees can make that. They could have honestly been one of those teams this year had some things gone different ways for them. They're still a really young team. Cleveland Indians are amazing.
They are.
If 1 or 2 bounces go their way, they would be there instead of the Astros. So
I just don't see the 2 of them beating the Astros in a 7-game series. Those guys are just so good.
To me, I think the Cleveland Indians still have better pitching overall than the Houston Astros.
I agree.
Which could end up being the difference.
But the Indians don't hit the ball like the Astros do. That's the problem.
Do you guys think this will be a 1-year blip a la like the Kansas City Royals where they kind of came up and kind of fell down really quickly? Or do you think this will be more of a longer lasting, kind of like the San Francisco Giants when they won like 3 out of 5 or something like that?
They're going to be.
Do you think they're going to be kind of more dynastic?
Yeah, especially if they get.
No, go ahead, Niles.
I think they'll be around, especially if they find out a way to keep all those guys on the payroll, because it's like with Correa. I think Carlos Correa is one of the best players in baseball. 23 years old, nothing gets past him at short, and he's automatic at the plate. So I just, guys like that, you got guys producing like that at 23, 24, 25. George Springer, I love George Springer, but he really surprised me how clutch he was this series. I didn't know he was going to hit the ball that well. You know what I'm saying? So guys like that, they're gonna be back, man. I feel like this is something we should get used to. Houston's gonna be in the deep playoff runs for the next couple of years.
Yeah. That's pretty. I think we pretty much wrapped that up.